Welcome to 5 Stripe Weekly, everyone. This week we take a look back at that bizarre match against the Philadelphia Union, and we take a look ahead to the start of the US Open Cup on Wednesday. All that and more, coming up.
Welcome to the show, 5 Stripe fam. I'm AJ, this is Tanner McLeod. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button. So guys, let's get into that 3-1 win against Philadelphia Union at an open roof Benz. And yeah, guys, it was hot and sweaty, and it got very crazy very early on as 2 Philadelphia players got sent off in a matter of a minute, and it was just a barrage of just what's happening. And you know, I think we have to talk about that moment. I mean, it's just a game-changing moment for sure.
Yeah, apparently there can't be a match at the Benz that doesn't lack any sort of controversy or drama. Like, is it too much just for me to ask for a match to finish 11 on 11, some goals scored either way, and no VAR? Yeah. So then I can walk out of the match, win or lose, and go, all right, we lost because we got beat. Or we won and we played really well. Or we drew and there was no VAR, anything for me to get mad about and think about at any point in time. I think it's genuinely every game except I think the first one against DC. VAR has been involved somehow. That's like 6 games in a row. And this one, like, I don't even have words for it. But like the red cards, they go hand in hand with the refs though, because the first red card was kind of stupid. From what we've been finding out later, the ref didn't know that he'd already had Bedoya on a yellow. Well,
no, that was maybe hearsay.
Maybe.
So.
Anyway, my opinion, I think he actually deserved it because he was wasting more time and stepped back into the D to do his sock, and you saw the ref warn him not to do that. So, idiot. Yeah, I guess he deserved it for being stupid. He was encroaching. Maybe since he's the captain, you'd be like, look, what did I just say? And you don't give him that second yellow. Right. But he did. The second red card, however, from the guy, his actions are just as crazy as his last name. This guy absolutely flipping lost his mind.
Yeah, Haris Madunianen, dude, I mean, it's like, you know, just, you gotta chill. I mean, I get it that your captain just got, you know, sent off. I mean, but them two are the oldest guys on the pitch, I think, on their team. And then they're both they're midfielders. I mean,
that's their 2 central midfielders. Just bang, bang, gone like that.
Insane.
And it was, I mean, like any phrase you could think of, throwing toys out the pram, like all of that. This dude, like, it was gone. The red mist descended, and he was going mental at the official. And I don't know what all happened. He's probably going to get a ban because I don't care what happens.
Apparently some spitting.
You can't talk to a ref that way, one way or the other, whether he's right or he's wrong.
He bumped him a couple times.
You can't do that. Like, I don't know what he expected other than to get sent off. Was he the one that absolutely kicked the ball off the penalty spot as well on his way out? Because there was a Philadelphia player that you can see in the video where Josef was just, because Josef didn't even care. He just stood there the whole time. Some Philly player comes in and just kicks the ball off the spot. They lost their minds. I have no idea what happened, but crazy enough, they ended up playing really, really well with 9 men, which they honestly irritated the heck out of me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a classic case of, you know, we thought we had the game sewn up. It wasn't a big deal. But I think they definitely came out with still like, oh, we're going to fight for, you know, a result here. And we switched off. And that's, you know, we saw a very, very underwhelming, you know, we created chances, obviously.
I mean, but had 31 shots, 5th most in MLS history in a single game.
Yeah. But,
and the goals are 2 penalties, and then...
Yeah, but I think in terms of the performances from individual players, it definitely wasn't our best showing.
Josef aside, I thought he played pretty damn well.
Yeah, no, he was linking up the play.
His hold-up play is just... He's changed his play style this year, and I was talking about this with our friend Kelly Francis the other day, about how much I really want to see Tito back, because... With how Tito is more direct, with Josef dropping deeper, it's going to give Tito a lot more chances to get in behind and a lot more one-on-ones. And with the passing that Josef displayed, that could become a very, very deadly combination if he can get himself fit and get into the starting 11. Because, I mean, he's just doing such a fantastic job, you know, coming back and getting involved in the build-up play. And that's something I had never seen him do last season. And it's even at the beginning of this season, it's kind of developed that way. So I thought he was really good value for that. But outside of that, goodness knows, no one knows what their shooting boots are.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, okay, yes, we are having trouble putting the ball in the back of the net at the moment. Yes. But, you know, as I said in our live stream yesterday, I think we will come good. It's not something that we need to stress about, but it's just, you know, it's a nature of, yeah, I mean, I think it's something, maybe the quality of chances that we're getting, maybe it's, you know, just
they're too good.
Yeah,
I mean, some of those one-on-ones, it's just like, at
Yeah.
what point can you just, like, you have to score that.
For sure.
Or at least make a better effort than hitting it straight at the keeper
Right.
or hitting the post. It's like...
And the team also, you know, they, of course, they're kind of deflecting a little bit of the questions like that. They're saying, yeah, we're getting a lot of chances, and if we weren't getting all these chances, then they would be worried. But, you know, we're getting plenty of chances, and so I think eventually, you know, these tap-ins will happen.
It's like when you create that many chances, some of them have to go in, and they start going in at some point in time. And, you know, I think part of me is torn between not concerned at all and really worried. The really worried side comes from it's almost halfway into the season and they're still struggling to put the ball in the back of the net when they need to, and that kind of thing can catch up to you. It's fine and dandy now when you're top of the table in May going into June, and you know, that's fine, but when you're in the playoffs and it's still an issue, and yeah, you create chances but you don't put them away, that's how you see results like New England happen. And in the playoffs, that's how you get sent home.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it is midway through the season.
Yes.
They are creating those chances, and you expect with the talent and quality that this team have, that at some point in time they'll be putting them, you know, putting them in the back of the net. For me, what was the most frustrating thing about this weekend is I thought, all right, 2 men off, this is the perfect chance for them to just get this out of their brains. Put them into the sword, put up another 7 spot like they did. And I get that sounds kind of crazy, but against 9 men
that's
at
what
home,
they had in mind. I think
it's like, put him away, because once you start seeing it hit the back of the net, then mentally it's like, all right, we're fine, we can do this. Because once you get that confidence, knowing you're going to put it in the back of the net that Josef has every time he touches the ball. But maybe that's lacking throughout the rest of the team right now.
It could be, and it could be just you know round pegs square holes type of thing where you know these guys that are being put into Barco and Almiron are more of a 10 and not you know an out and out striker, and so expecting them to really put away every single chance that they have, like Josef, is probably asking too much. But I think on the other aspect of that, what you were talking about, yes, like we're almost halfway into the season. But I think, you know, us rounding into top form, we shouldn't even be really too worried about that right now. Because, yeah, I mean, we want to be really getting into really top form, getting into the playoffs. So right now, working out some of the kinks where, yeah, we're not finishing as well. We're not, you know, we're still grinding out results. This is the thing. It's like, you know, we're grinding out results and we're, you know, top. Like, that's
and still lead the league in goals, which is crazy. Like, we're complaining about this, and yet we have the most goals in the league at 30. And we're kind of ahead of our pace of last season, and they still keep scoring. They're going to score 70 again, which is crazy to think. But, like, I think what's a big thing in this is that we've kind of talked about it in past episodes. I think that if Tito can get fit, or if they can figure out how to switch the system back to the 4-3-3-1 or 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it, I think that'll bring the best out of players, because I think it'll keep Miggy and Barco out of the same spaces. I think it'll give more width down the outside with, you know, multiple people going down the wing, or one cutting in, one overlapping. And I think by doing that, it pulls the defense even more. So I think there'll be even more clear-cut chances than what we're seeing now. And also, that's a system that a lot of those players are used to playing in, as opposed to now it's a lot more narrow, at least the play is, because your width is coming from your fullback or your wing backs, as opposed to normally, you know, you'd have Barco and Tito on the outside as well as whoever's at fullback overlapping on them. So it's like, I think once the whole team gets fit, which hasn't been the case yet, you know, that'll happen at some point in time. And I think a change of system, I think, will kind of facilitate them scoring more chances, because there'll be more players in and around that area.
And I think that's also the beauty of it, is that we can switch between these systems for the opponent at hand, and that's really great. So if we're on the road, we can use the 3-5-2 if we need it. Even during the game, we can switch.
Well, they tested how the second half started against Philadelphia. It was an immediate switch to a 4-2-3-1. You saw, you know, Ambrose coming on at fullback, and you could, for me, it changed. The game changed a little bit when that came on, because it was a bit stale those last 20 minutes of the first half when it came to us really, you know, taking good chances. And obviously, go 2-0 up, they take it back to 2-1, which honestly infuriates me that they even got a goal, because there is no way anyone should be any like semblance of having space when you're 2 men up.
Well, it was our old nemesis that we dealt with a lot of all last season was, you know, set pieces. And so it was a set piece. It was a second ball that got headed down and an open guy. It's kind of a, you know, maybe the American football term, blown coverage, like somebody who didn't cover. And
which you shouldn't. I mean, they'll probably have to get a nice little talking to in the film session about that, of like, how do you let this guy get open when there's more of you than there are of them by 2. Someone can mark this guy.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, they didn't play great. Yeah, I'm disappointed, but still 3 points is 3 points, and it's like.
Sure. And I think it's something that's a good positive out of this as well, is that the Philadelphia Union coach Curtin, he mentioned that the fans were definitely a factor in maybe getting some of the red cards or calls going our way, because, you know, we're, you know, 45,000 strong and loud, and, you know, we're influencing, you know, not only the ref, and, you know, so it's great. You know, it's great in a sense, because while I think we talked about how maybe it kind of killed the game.
It definitely killed the game. Again, I just want a good. I think honestly, Atlanta were playing fine against 11, in my opinion. I thought Atlanta were playing fine. It was
pretty 11. Back and forth, and it was hard to tell how the game was going to go.
I think even with the thing is, against when you score first, especially at home for us, against the team, even with 11 people. So assuming Josef makes that, they stay with 11 guys. They open up even more, and I feel like they're more focused when it's 11v11, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Who cares? It doesn't matter. 3 points is 3 points, but. It's really maddening, just like officiating on all just facets in MLS right now. I mean, even VAR, like it went in Atlanta's favor this game. It helped get the penalty. It was such an obvious hand. His arm was up here. You don't need VAR to make that. You don't even need VAR to confirm it. And that's what's kind of bothering me, is why does he even need to confirm it? Like, he doesn't even need to go look at the screen. If he's a good ref, he looks, well, that's not a natural position, and just hit him in his hand, and he's definitely inside the box. That's a pin. Why did he have to go look at it? Like, it's just like, the officials need to make these first time, not like, they don't need it as a crutch to keep going back, because it just slows down the game. And it's like, everyone knew that it was a penalty, except for the ref. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, it's your job. It's obvious.
You know, but speaking of that VAR and how it may have affected maybe even the Philadelphia Union, they were delaying, and that's why they were in the semicircle, and they were pulling up their socks, and because they were trying to see if the AR was actually going to get in, you know, the center referee's ear eventually and say something, and that's really what, you know, led to the whole debacle for the Union.
You're definitely seeing players are catching on to that now. I mean, you know, Lorinowitz did that in our favor a couple times, telling Miggy to wait, and then it gets reviewed and it's a pin. So it's like, players know this. If it's a close thing, and they're going to slow the play down. And then, honestly, the whole process wastes, what, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes sometimes? And that kills it for me. It's like, they should have someone who's watching it in real time and immediately can go down to the ref and say, look, this is what's going on. And then have it in, boom, 30 seconds to a minute is how it should be. But now the whole game has to stop, and we'll stand there for a while as players wait, and then eventually the video assistant referee calls down, and then he might go look at it. It's just like, it's so frustrating as a fan to just be in the stadium. And what's really funny is, I was having a debate with my friend Davis a few weeks ago, and he's very anti-VAR, and I was so adamantly in favor of it. And now he's laughing, saying, haha, I told you so, because the past few weeks have completely changed my view on it. And it's just like, I'm scared to see what happens at the World Cup, because something's going to go horribly wrong there.
It's going to. It's going to. You know, especially because of how he did it. It's country versus country. I feel like there's a lot of emotions.
And a lot of the refs have never used VAR before. They're going to be there.
Yeah.
Not Mark Geiger, though. He can mess it up for somebody. Bell pipe.
Yeah, but it's something that, I'm not really sure why it's being introduced, you know, for most of the world there. It's probably not a wise idea, but you know, it's not going to affect U.S. men's national team, so all right, I guess we're okay in that regard. But, but in terms of, let's get back to Josef Martinez and that great game that he had. You know, he gets a hat trick, and it's his 5th MLS hat trick, and it's tied for the most ever. But he's the fastest to ever do it.
He's played 30, how many games?
34 games, 31 goals in that time. I mean, that's about half his goals pretty much from hat tricks, but that's just insane. That's an insane number. And man, you know, some of them were in blowouts. Obviously, a major one that comes to mind is against the New England Revolution in the 7-0 win. Against Orlando City. I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of just really great moments in that span of time too. So, you know, if that pace keeps up, that's just insane. Like, I
mean, would you put money, like, would you put a tenner right now on him getting another hat trick this season? I certainly would. Yeah. Absolutely. He'll get it against someone.
I would bet too. So, I mean, I don't know. I probably should, you know, get to Vegas.
Maybe soon it'll just be like easy and I can just do it on my phone and then it'd be easy to bet on him getting a hat. Who will score first? Josef.
Yeah, exactly.
Every game. Josef. I mean, the fact that he's almost returning at a goal a game rate is just absolutely insane.
And there's a stat out there that says that he hasn't even been, he's only been called offside twice in 330 minutes. Like, that's, you know, like all those.
I thought he was always offside.
I know, right? All those naysayers, all that. That's a span of essentially what, about 4 games. So, yeah. You know?
I mean, but the thing is, it was really cool after the game as well. He gives his shirt to a young kid with a Venezuela. Right. Like, you can see he loves playing here. So, like, I think we should just stop worrying about the body language, all that. He loves being here. You could see that in the live stream he did with LGP last week. I mean, his interactions with the fans. He loves playing the game, and he loves playing it here in Atlanta, and he loves scoring goals. And honestly, I'm glad we've got him because, I mean, is there anyone better than him right now at doing that in the league? Like,
yeah, he leads the league with 12 goals. He's the Golden Boot leader. I mean, you know.
I mean, I think we said at the beginning of the year that we thought he could win Golden Boot. Yeah. I think he's going to end up with 27 to 30 goals. Like, that sounds like a lot, but I mean, again, when the team hits form, he's going to be scoring even more.
Yeah.
So, I think he's 25, 27, that somewhere in that range.
Right. And I think if he had kept this pace of like 31 and 34 games, so that's the equivalent of an entire MLS season, that would be the MLS record.
Yes,
so
it would be.
That's even crazier. So Tata Martino had this to say after the match. He said, "It's concerning when a team isn't intelligent to play 11 versus 9, to circulate the ball from side to side, and get a lot of people in the box to finish the play. I have the feeling that we played more individually than collectively when we were up 2 players." Yeah, I definitely agree with his assessment there.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking, I think, a very smart play here and criticizing his players after a win that they didn't perform well in because he knows that they all respect him and that he can challenge them. And especially when you have very ambitious players in your locker room like Josef Martinez, Miguel Almiron, they'll take that challenge and you know that they'll strive to improve. And I think they will, and I would have been the same thing personally. I think that he's seen them maybe drop their levels a little bit, and he has high standards and he expects them to live up to that, and he knows the fans expect them to live up to that. So I think it's a good take. I mean, he wasn't like overly harsh or singling out individuals to throw them under the bus, but it was a collective challenge to the team of, hey, we can play better. Right. So I'm on board with that, and you know, I'm not in a place to disagree with whatever Tata has to say when it comes to criticizing his team.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree. It's like he needed to get the team to be more tactful, to be more ruthless, because it was just they lacked the cutting edge, definitely, and you know, it definitely showed. But Michael Parkhurst had this to say as well about the conditions with the roof open at Mercedes-Benz. "It was tough today. It was really hot. It was really humid. Usually we don't have to worry about that. It's cool when you look up, but other than that, we sweat a lot more." And I was definitely sweating in the seats that I was at. I mean, it's just, yeah, I agree. It's, you know, maybe in June, maybe in July, August, let's not have it open.
But in the spring and the fall when it feels great, that's the time. But yeah, it was definitely a warm day.
Yeah, definitely. And it affected the players for sure. I think that maybe, you know, affected why they dropped their levels a little bit. But yeah, why the roof was open is because they're finally kind of, you know, shoring up the final things on getting that button to actually work to be able to open and close.
I mean, that really expensive roof that delayed us moving into the stadium by 3 months, and they might actually get it to work for once?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We'll see when it actually happens.
I think not a huge deal because as we saw, it's like, you know, yeah, summer months, let's just not have it open. Looks great.
It's nice to have AC in the summer.
Oh yeah, and that's the change from Bobby Dodd to Mercedes-Benz. That was the huge thing.
When you walk in, you feel that nice little breath of cold air. It's just like, oh yeah, this is nice. This is nice and relaxing.
Yeah, it's why like people kind of in decades past they would go to like malls or movie theaters a bunch.
Because it had AC.
Yeah, they just hang out there because maybe their house doesn't have AC and stuff like that. I definitely know like New York doesn't have a ton of AC and stuff like that. So that's a big reason. And
we have a roof. It's hot. We all know how weather it is in Atlanta. So let's just keep it close.
Keep it cool. And in this week's mailbag, we have a question from Carson ATL Hawks 26 on Instagram. He asks, how can the team be more clinical and convert on more shots, in your opinion?
I feel that's a question we've all definitely been asking ourselves over the last few weeks. I think it's actually kind of complicated in that there's so many factors that could go into it. Maybe it's a mental thing for them. Some of them, we don't see the ball hitting the back of the net, and they think about that when they shoot. That definitely happens to professional athletes. Maybe, it's the system. Maybe they're just not clicking. It's just the form. I mean, there's all sorts of things. For me, I don't know. I think a change of system would definitely help them because it puts players further forward. It puts players, in their more natural positions. And I think that'll help create goals. And I think once they get them going, it'll start really, once they get flowing and hit form, which we know they can do. And I'm ready for that to happen, but at the same time, you have to be patient.
Yep.
I think we'll start seeing that go more, and that finishing will do better. But we kind of talked about it last week as well. I think maybe next year we'll have a bit of a better preseason to get up to full speed beforehand.
Yeah, I think it's all those factors and a bit of unluckiness. I think it's just all of that, and I think they maybe realize it too, and they're pressing just a little bit as well. So all that can really make a player at that moment when you're trying to score, like freeze up a little bit, tense up.
Yeah, because you're at your best when you're in front of goal and you don't think. That's what all the best strikers say. They don't think about where they're putting the ball. The geniuses just know. They just hit the ball with their foot and it goes in those brilliant places where like, how did they even think about that? They didn't. And or if they did, they think so fast that they know exactly what they want to do. And then they just do it because they have the confidence in themselves that they're going to. And if you don't have the confidence in yourself when you try something, it's usually not going to come off. Like, Gareth Bale doesn't attempt that free kick for Liverpool if he doesn't think that he's going to put it in the back of the net.
Or against Liverpool, yeah.
Or Liverpool,
right. And that's the Champions League match, just for reference and context.
He threw up an incredible bicycle kick that made almost no sense. And, the best players attempt those things when they, like Barco against Orlando City.
Yeah.
Outside of the boot, that's a hard technique to do, but he has complete faith in how he's hitting the ball, that he's going to hit it and it's going to slice in like it did. When you have confidence in what you're doing, you play better. Maybe just a little bit. They're thinking too much right now. So I feel like I haven't given you a great answer there, but fingers crossed, it'll get better and we'll see them scoring boatloads of goals coming into the season.
Thanks for the question, Carson. Moving on, Jackson Willis 11 on Instagram asks, do you think the loss versus KC has put some pressure on us and made us perform worse in the past few games in the run-up to this game as well? What do you think?
It's interesting. I guess definitely could be plausible. I don't know. I think that loss kind of surprised everyone. It kind of came out of nowhere. We weren't really expecting it.
Especially a loss at home, which we don't do
there
very
was
often.
Some controversy in it, as there always is apparently. I think maybe not as much at this point anymore. Because they've definitely had a few matches in between to kind of get that, out of their brains. But I definitely could see how it could have caused like a bit of a surprise thing. It was like, whoa, you get punched in the mouth sometimes and it takes you a second to recover from it. I don't think Tata's putting pressure on them necessarily. Maybe they do it themselves because, well, we put it on them. I don't know, but it very much could be a very, possible thing that could have happened. I'm not sure. I don't personally think so, but who knows what the players are thinking.
Yep. All right. Thank you for the question, Jackson. Next question comes from I am Alicia D on Instagram. Looking at this season so far, how do y'all feel about Williams as a sub? Is there someone else you'd rather see, or would you prefer Josef play the whole 90 plus?
That's a multi-parter. First, I like Romario coming on as an option. I think he offers you a lot. He's shown that he can score goals at levels below this, and I think we know he can score them at this level. I mean, look at his goal versus LAFC. That was a very incredible piece of skill on his weak foot. Yeah. I think his biggest issue right now is he's not playing enough first team minutes, because in other leagues around the world, especially in Europe and stuff, players like him, he'd be rotated in, he'd start games, he'd play more games because they have multiple cups. And by playing those games, you have more time on the pitch in a match with the first team. If you don't get those minutes, sometimes you don't know exactly where this person's going to go, because it always is different when you do it in training versus you step in front of 45,000 people. For me, I wish he could get more minutes. I think he will start this Wednesday actually against Charleston, and I think he needs those minutes, because if he gets more comfortable with the team, he offers you a lot coming off the bench, in my opinion. And I think he's a great understudy to Josef as well. If Josef cannot play a game, I have faith in him. He's shown that he can make the runs. He has the vision to play passes. I mean, he played Barco in that one-on-one that the keeper made a great save against New England. He drew the penalty. I mean, he contributes when he comes on. So I like that. I also like the idea of Josef actually not playing the full 90 right now. It's a long season. He had some injury problems last year, and I would rather have him fit come into the season than, he scored a boatload of goals and he's knackered. So I think it's nice when you have the option that you can give guys like that rest. Obviously, he hates coming out, but Tata knows it's for the best. Right. So, yeah.
And I think it also keeps him hungry, when he's not being allowed to play the entire full 90, he'll, start to think about and start to ponder. And it could be bad, but it could also be good for a player as well when they're sitting on the bench and just like, I wish I was in at these last moments. I can help. What can I do to get better or be there for the full 90? So yeah, I mean, but I think it's a nature of.
I think this past weekend was the happiest I've ever seen Josef when he's been subbed. Because he's like, hat trick, job done, and he was going to the bench. He was like not upset about it. High fives around to everyone. And then he goes off. He's like, all right, I got the business. And the second that he scored, immediately I saw Tata like, Mario, you're getting on now. It's like, hat trick, done, haul him off. You don't need him getting hurt.
It's definitely, the game is done at that point. I think we are definitely in a safer place to actually secure the result at that point. So, yeah, definitely.
But I definitely think in big games, Josef's staying on the whole 90.
Absolutely.
Playoffs, everything, I don't think he comes off.
Right. I agree. Moving on to our Wasteman of the Week segment. Who's our Wasteman this week?
Our Wasteman this week goes to Harris. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce your last name because you're insane, just like his actions, from Philadelphia Union. I have rarely seen players absolutely lose their marbles like this at anyone. Your teammates probably won't be happy for it. You really, really, really went off the deep end on that one, mate. And you're probably going to get a nice little band to go along with it. So, for losing your absolute mind, Harris, I don't know, you get Wasteman of the Week. Thank you for getting sent off, by the way.
So Harris Maduyan,
What he said.
I got it, and the Philadelphia Union have actually been playing pretty well before that, and so definitely he ruins their kind of good run.
I mean, then with 10 men, they probably could have played fine, but when you just absolutely just go off the nose of the earth and just lose your mind, the red mist descends, whatever you want to say. But it looks like he's got a band coming as well, so enjoy that.
And in our coverage of Atlanta United 2, they also had a match this past weekend. They played Tampa Bay Rowdies. They both had players sent off early in the match, so it was 10-man versus 10-man, and ended up with a 0-0 draw. Paul Christensen, Paul Wall had 4 saves, ties his saves output on the season as well. And essentially, it was the first clean sheet of the season for Atlanta United 2, so good on them for that. They also play this Saturday, this weekend. They play Indy 11 on the road again, so it's good in a sense that they snapped their 5-game losing streak on the road, but best of luck to them on this weekend.
So guys, let's take a look at what's in the news this week. MLS All-Star voting is open, so if you want to vote for Atlanta United players, you are absolutely more than welcome to do that. Or don't do that, because I think a lot of us want them to stay fit, so it's one of those few polls where Atlanta United fans don't want to win. So it's open, so if you want to vote, go on MLS.com, MLSsoccer.com I should say, and vote for who you think should be there.
And two guys who we'll probably see at the MLS All-Star Game is Josef Martinez and Miguel Almiron, and they made the Team of the Week this week. And Miguel Almiron got the Audi Player Index Player Performance of the Week. So, you know,
really? Him over the hat? Look, no slight to Miggy. He's been in the MLS Team of the Week a lot this year. Yeah. Personally, I don't think he's played that well. So either I'm crazy or spoiled or something, but if he's getting into the MLS Team of the Week and winning Player of the Week and he's not even playing his best football, good luck when he actually gets going, guys, because he is on fire.
Agreed.
But in some more news about MLS, FC Cincinnati will be joining the league next year, so it's good to see them. They have a very, very ravenous fan base, very much like ourselves. It's good to see another city that supports their team like Atlanta United does, where their fans are absolutely mental. They pack it out. They lead USL in attendance. I can't wait to see it. I actually found it really funny because our possible rivals of the future, Nashville, had a funny tweet about welcoming them to the league, when in reality, Cincinnati is going to be having a whole year in the league before Nashville does. Either way, both of those teams entering the league are closer than Orlando, so I'm actually very much looking forward to making a trip to Cincinnati because that's a game I'd really like to see. With the way their fans go, their songs, they have very unique chants. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and maybe that could be a potential rival as well. Yeah. After this past week of games, Atlanta United is again in first place in both the East and in the Supporter Shield overall. They are on 29 points, which puts them 1 point ahead of their closest rivals. What's also interesting is that they are now actually safe in a sense from Red Bull's games in hand. Even if Red Bull win both their games in hand, they will still be behind Atlanta United by a point. So clear at the top of the league right now, and again, complaining about the way we're playing, but still in first place. Yep. I can only imagine what they're going to be doing when they actually get things going.
Yeah, ain't all that bad, and yeah, we're actually on pace for 70 points, which would eclipse the record set by Toronto FC last year. So, you know, if we're talking about best ever seasons, at least for Supporter Shield, we're on pace for that. So, real good. So as May ends and June begins, let's look back at our goals and saves of the month. What's your goal of the month?
For me, I think it was pretty simple. It was Ezequiel Barco versus what I'm going to start calling Salty Boys SC down in that certain place in Florida. Nice little outside of the boot action, whips it right under the underside of the crossbar for a very, very tasty goal.
Yeah, I would agree. It's far and away the best goal of the month. You know, just the skill and, you know, he's always hitting crossbars. I think
he is, yeah, just a little bit lower on the shots there, my guy.
Well, it's making him unstoppable.
That's true. That is true. If it comes under that, goalkeeper does not have a chance to save it. And speaking of saves, save of the month, who you got?
Definitely. So I have Escobar versus Chicago Fire when he's making that goal line save, and Brad Guzan's mind is just completely blown. He's just like, what?
He didn't actually, thankfully, he didn't punch him. Well, actually, he did kind of get hurt that game, didn't he?
Punched him afterwards.
He was just mad because he took the save off of him or something. For me, I'm actually going to go Guzan versus Royer in the New York Red Bull game. Yeah. Royer had a pretty sweet little volley there that's really hard to get a read on, especially when it's coming off quick, and I thought Guzan made a nice little reaction save. May not look that fancy when you in the highlights or anything, but for me, I thought it was a very, very nice save. So for me, I get save of the month.
And the games are coming in thick and fast still. So this Wednesday at 7:30 at Fifth Third Bank Stadium, we play Charleston Battery in the U.S. Open Cup. It's you know, our old USL affiliate, so they know us very well. We know them very well. We've had a bunch of players play for them, and you know, they've played us in the preseason. Of course, they you know, they've played us tough. They've got a physical team. Their back line is full of 6 feet and taller players, and they've got a monster at 6'5" as one of their center backs. So you're gonna be a force. Yeah, that's his height. Yeah. So yeah, if you ever play soccer with Tanner, don't, you know, try to out-head him on anything.
I played basketball. Jumping's kind of my thing. So.
But no, but you don't even have to jump. That's the beauty of it. But anyway, but yeah. So when Tata was asked if he took the U.S. Open Cup seriously, he's definitely really putting onus on it this year, because if you win it, you get a Champions League spot, and we definitely want one of those, whichever way we get in.
I just want the trophy, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Trophies are great, and we want a cabinet full of trophies. So this is something that, you know, we want to take seriously, and I think Tata is going to play a lot of the first team guys that maybe sit on the bench or get some first team minutes here and there, and a mix of the Atlanta United 2 players. So we may see the likes of Romario Williams, who's a former Charleston Battery player. We may see the likes of Brandon Vasquez get more minutes, Kevin Kratz. So who would you like to really see?
I really want to see Romario start. I'm really interested to see how he can play. If he starts a game, he can get in the flow. That I think he can be very dangerous, and him playing against his old side from last season. I'm quite nervous about the game, actually. There's an interesting little rule that a lot of people may not know about the U.S. Open Cup, but it restricts the number of international players that you can play even more so than MLS does. So only 5 players out of our international players can play in this game. So Tata will be a bit limited in his selection there. So I definitely would like to see a mix of both experience and young players. So Carlton playing would be nice, Romario would be nice, but also I'd like to see some guys that are first teamers in there, a Parker, someone like that, because you need that. And I would like to win. I'd like to win the U.S. Open Cup. I want to put trophies in that cabinet, and any kind is always good. So I think that they have the potential to go all the way, but this game actually really makes me nervous.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's this aspect of, we have a very, very big game on Saturday against NYCFC. So that's going to be, we need to kind of worry about that as well. Not put too much fatigue on our, first team regulars. And we also have, against Charleston Battery, we have our MLS Super Draft player, Gordon Wild, who's been killing it as well.
He's going to score, I'm saying right now. He's going to score.
I mean, especially because, he can play, and then he will also, have a little bit of a vendetta of, you guys loan me out, this is my opportunity.
In my opinion, it's actually a good attitude to have. You want to prove the reason, hey, y'all were silly, or hey, next season I'm in this team.
For sure.
So I think he's going to score. But I'm kind of curious to see. We've talked about how they're going to line up. They're a very big physical back line. How do you think we're going to line up? Because, like I said earlier, it's going to be a mix, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the amount of players that might be subbed in and out, we want to have a little bit of continuity. At least with maybe some Atlanta United 2 players with each other, and then with a little bit of maybe the back line of Atlanta United. So I think for me, it susses out as either Can or Hildebrand as the starting keeper. I think Can gets the nod, in my opinion, just because he's,
senior.
Well, he's played a little bit more within the system. Hildebrand hasn't really gotten a ton of game time, although at FC Cincinnati, he was just huge for them. So, I think it's Can, and then I think it's Zizo as right back. I think it's Miles Robinson. I think it's LGP. I think Parker's gets rest this time. Just because.
More miles in the legs.
Yeah, exactly. I think he needs to be rested for NYCFC. So, LGP gets the nod from me. Hernandez at left back. So if you're kind of following along, it's going to probably be a 4-2-3-1. I think it's Andrew Wheeler-Aminu as our 8, as our 6, and Kevin Kratz as our 8. We'll have. This is where it's it could be any number of these players. It could be. It could be a Kisadou, it could be a Lagos Kunga, it could be...
Those are both nice shouts, I'd like to see that.
It could be Andrew Carlton, it could be Jose Carranza.
I think Vasquez and Williams definitely feature.
I think, they have the most experience, and they offer a lot of dynamic that maybe the other ones don't. So I think it's from the left, maybe it's a Jose Carranza, because he's really earned the minutes, I feel like. Andrew Carlton in the middle. I think it's Vasquez getting in on the right, and Romario Williams at the top. So, I think it's a strong lineup. It has a little bit of continuity, and also I think Romario Williams knows Charleston Battery fairly well as well. So, he can attack their weaknesses a little bit more. But getting into the predictions. What do you think? How's it going to go?
Well, not to kind of dampen the mood, but with all the chopping and changing and a really big match on the horizon, I actually don't have a great feeling about this game. I think that Charleston Battery are going to come out firing. I think that Gordon Waugh is going to get on the score sheet, if not once, twice possibly. I have Charleston Battery winning 2-1. I think Amari Williams will get that 1 goal. But I think with this much chopping and changing and this much possible disruption to chemistry, playing in a different stadium where they played Charleston played them really close last year. I think that they're more worried about the weekend, and I think this could be a game where they could just slip up and lose to a team that isn't bad, but definitely is below the quality level of Atlanta United.
Well, I see your 1-2, and I reversed that. 2-1, I think, is my prediction. Will win. I think it's just, yeah, I think we have enough firepower, and I think, yeah, it's going to be probably a fairly open game. You know, they always get after us. So, you know, I think maybe we score first and they're, you know, having to chase a little bit, and then, you know, they're open up a little bit, and, you know, we get a, you know, go ahead one, and, you know, hopefully we kind of secure the win and move on in the US Open Cup. So that's our prediction. And, you know, hopefully that happens, because whew, it's a competition that we really want to win.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a competition I really want to win. And that kind of actually has a nice little segue into our question of the week this week. And that is, how important is winning the US Open Cup to you? Very curious to see what you guys have to say. Get down in the comments below and let us know what you think.
So guys, that's it for us today. Remember to smash a like, subscribe if you haven't, share this video because it really does help us a lot. And for Tanner McLeod, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.